Hey guys, Crowbar Zero and version 26 just dropped for us, and so I'm gonna go into some of the details on that. Just the first thing that I'm gonna mention is that there were a ton of changes to Poison Swamp. You can see here that I'm spawning about 1 to 2. There's a new level on the duration, so I'm always going to have one, but there's going to be a little bit of downtime until they get that second one up and rolling. Unfortunately, that means that due to this, well, there's a flip. So on one side, it's a lot more CPU friendly. It's not going to tank your frames per second as much. So when you're farming, it's actually going to be a lot more advantageous to use, like later in the run than it used to. But yeah, overall, I think it's fallen as far as like if you've got inner landmines and poison swamp to choose from as like the last two ultimate weapons before you get into ultimate weapon plus. I would say take inner landmines first instead of poison swamp, just because the stun factor that you would get out of poison swamp now is severely nerfed compared to like inner landmine still maintains its stun feature. Um, and I think for poison swamp, they're trying to turn it into a damaging ultimate weapon, but unfortunately, I think it becomes this like later game kind of damaging ultimate weapon, because you need the poison swamp plus. Um, at that point, you need to build out the radius and whatnot. Now, I think compared to the old radius, as far as lab goes, versus the new levels that they added, due to the perks that they have in there, I would say it might not be a good idea to actually take any levels into the new labs of Poison Swap Radius, um, because I think it might extend a little bit too far out into the background, and it might actually be harmful for you. Um, it may be. I don't know for sure. This is just kind of my speculation. I'm just trying to make sense like everyone else is of everything that's going on. Um, so that's kind of my commentary on Poison Swamp. Its usefulness for when you're getting ultimate weapons has been, pretty severely hit, I would say. Just because it almost requires you to have Chronofield, which is going to sideways push enemies hopefully through your Poison Swamp so that they can receive that debuff, which is both a slow, and then it also starts taking damage that slowly ramps up over time and ramps up even more once you go to Poison Swamp Plus. I think it's got like a smaller, like if you don't have Poison Swamp, I think it's like a much smaller version of it, but I could be wrong on that. Where the damage will slowly add up, but not nearly as much as if you have Poison Swamp Plus. Um, for inner landmines, there's a really expensive lab that was added. Um, actually, yeah, there's two really, really expensive labs that were added. One was a lab that decreases the severity of battle conditions, and there's 10 levels of that, and that maxes out at minus 20%. So that'll actually be really good, but it's incredibly expensive. And I think somebody showed me a chart where I think the last level of that one is. Oh, wait, no, that was for they're really expensive. Like absurdly expensive, where it takes the kind of econ that you see me using right now to be able to get some of those things. And even then, it's going to be a long time for me to even save up to afford some of those. So it's really expensive. Um, yeah. Anyway, just to show some of the poison swamp damage and just compare it to other tools that I have. So this is where smart missiles are at. So even though it's not as much damage, one, I turned on Poison Swamp kind of towards the end of the run, end-ish part of the run. This run is actually going on pretty long. But my Poison Swamp and my Poison Swamp Plus are not nearly as developed as Smart Missiles. So just take that into account. Yeah. I think once I have more development into Swamp and Poison Swamp in general, this damage is really going to skyrocket. And things like the Poison Swamp Rend, that's going to add a lot of value for that damage. But again, like it almost requires Chronofield Plus to really make use of it as a semi-reliable way to do damage. Yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on that. The other big changes, there was a bunch of increases of various levels to all the Ultimate Weapon Plus levels. Kind of more, and then there's a cooldown reduction on Death Wave, which is now at 50 seconds, which months and months ago I was like, this thing has got to happen. Like it's gonna fit so well, and I'm not quite there yet. I think I've got by the end of this week I should have that, but that'll change things. So as far as the meta goes, I'm just gonna pull up my mods here. Once that happens, I'm gonna be ditching my multiverse nexus for I think Harmony Connector is where I'm gonna go with that. And this was incredibly expensive to roll, but I think it was like some large number of months of collecting up reroll shards to I was rolling these 2 slots until I finally got it to land on Deathwave cooldown. I'm hoping maybe, I don't know if it's a good idea, but I think it will be to get Golden Tower cooldown on here as well. But we'll see. That will be a thing later down the road. Also about modules, there was a new one that was added called Project Funding. And this is definitely more of something that you're not going to bring towards into farming runs, but should be good for tournaments. So basically, the more cash you have, the more damage bonus that you're going to get. Which is going to be a lot better than things like G-Comp or some other stuff for tournaments, at least for the end game. Right now, I don't have the mods to merge this up into Ancestral, but I did pull up enough for that. So hopefully that happens soon for me. Let's see, I'm going to go into the featured banners. So there's a featured banner, standard banner. I don't know if looks like the standard banner does not have the new module in there. So if I'm guessing correctly, I don't know if I am. It doesn't say anything about like this being, well, there's a time limit, but I think this module is going to be added to the standard banner later on, I think, hopefully. Otherwise I'm going to be SOL, but I think that's probably what's going to happen. And one of the nice things that I noticed is if you've got something at 5 stars, the chance that's going to drop is going to be reduced compared to everything else. So if you're having a really hard time pulling G-Comp, which is painful to say, but if it's just like you're not getting any drops on it, at least at the end of the road when everything is at 5 stars, you're going to be getting a nice little buff to make sure that you actually can get your G comp or whatever module that you're trying to get to 5 stars, at least that drop chance will increase quite a bit so that you actually can dream about possibly getting that module. Actually, it's probably a little bit easier to see on this one because I don't have the 50% getting eaten up by okay, yeah. So it looks like it's spread evenly amongst all of the remaining ones. So yeah, like the bulk of the chance is gonna go for towards anything that you're missing. Or at least not something that's not 5 star. Um I'm hoping that later on down the line when they have featured banners of things like, let's say, Dimension Core, I would like a second copy of that. But I think they're going to do like maybe half a month or so, or whatever was it, 20 days of each of these new modules, because I think there was this one and there was like another one that they kind of teased, and we haven't seen that other one in the announcements, so I'm guessing there's probably more coming down the line. We'll see how that turns out. I don't know what they are, but so far, definitely a place in the meta for project funding. I need more gems. And the amount of farming that's being done now is absolutely nuts. It's yeah. Let's go into the vault. There's new vault stuff. So I'm just gonna go up, and of course there's the latency that's an issue for me, but we're making our way up. So this is part of the Harmony tree. You can see some of the progress that I made. So it kind of starts right about, let's see, this one is so that's the auto shatter. So I think it starts right about here. So daily emission shard type, that's really useful. There's a lot of new ones that are useful. The additional card slot, this is, ooh, I love it. That added just enough for me to actually complete my build. There's one other extra card slot up above, and probably not going to get that unless hybrid becomes a thing again in the meta. But until then, I think I'm just going to stop with this card. Auto restart run, that's really nice. So you can just farm, and if you've got all the other stuff, like auto nuke, auto demon mode when you get hit. Both of those are going to be really nice to make sure that you can make sure that you get those effects up and running in your runs, and you really don't need to pay attention to the run as much. I mean, yeah, you're still going to have to claim the gems, and I hope down the line they add more to this. So hopefully we can get more than just a stack of 25. Hopefully we can get a stack of something that equates to like 8 or 9 hours. I'm really hoping for this, because that means that a lot of us will be able to go to bed and not have to worry about, missing gems. I'm really hoping that this becomes a thing. Yeah, we've got more levels of like, if this thing stops out. Part of the biggest problem with some of these emulators or the cloud phones is if there's kind of like a high peak point, Because I think over in Asia right now is kind of like a peak in kind of users being online and whatnot. I think that's why I'm getting the latency that I do, even though it says that it's good. I get a lot of lag and it becomes difficult to go through some of these menus. We've got a workshop orb adjuster, which is really cool. And there's a lot of stuff in here that I'm just not covering, but these are the ones that I found that are the most beneficial to me. But yeah, you can adjust where you put both now your extra orbs and your workshop orbs. There's also a damage cap slider, so if you're trying to throttle your damage throughout the run, this can be super useful. And then if you do a lot of bot respecs, I don't find as much value in these ones compared to everything else. I think I'd rather just bite the cost. There's a bot cooldown slider. I don't think I'm gonna end up getting this one. But if I didn't have as many medals as I did, I would say that this could actually be pretty good. And then on to power. This one I'm going to have to slide up a bit, because again, there's a bunch of stuff towards the top. There are these new, like, T2. So add 1 extra level to most nodes in power tree. So not all the nodes, but it sounds like you get like an extra level. And I'm guessing you probably have to buy that, so probably like an extra a tick on like super crit chance that you could get, stuff along those lines. Going up, dealing with cloud phone latency. There's also tier 3 that actually costs quite a bit, so I don't think most players are going to be touching this for a very, very long time. There's new levels here. So like knockback chance. We've got shockwave frequency, a negative 1 second. A 2% boost to defy death. You know, that's kind of cool. I think the more frequent shockwave frequency gives more value to anti-cube portal. So just to make sure more of those enemies are, or enemies are getting hit more frequently with shockwave. An extra orb, that's going to be really cool. That's like, I'm hoping I can win this next tournament so I can get this, because that looks freaking amazing. Got some bounce shot chance. Most of these are kind of garbage, like cash per wave. Like, because of GT, because of Black Hole, because of all these other things, cash per wave is like absolute garbage. So, like, some of these, interest per wave, absolute garbage. Come on. Click it. Recovery boost max. At this point in the game, garbage. Some of these are not too bad. Rend armor chance, that's not too bad. Rapid fire chance, no one's gonna need this. There's so many shots that are going out that you're pretty much always going to be rapid firing anyway. Or at least by the point that it really matters, you will be. Boost a multi-shot chance, like, that's not too bad. Like, if there was any reason to go up the middle on this side, I would say it would be for the the boost to multi-shot chance. And then it ends with another set of ultimate weapon damage and boost, and then 2 more meters to bot range. Guilds. So there's guilds now, and there's 2 kind of stores in here. So the first one is for the Guardian, and from what the look of it, it looks like kind of like a setup like Warframe, like the Warframe pets, where you can equip abilities or like little effects. So maybe one of them will be eventually 5% coin drop or something like that, just by having the bot flying around. I don't know what they are, but just tossing stuff out there. So I think just by having whatever the Guardian has, that'll do some extra little effect. Maybe it'll attack, maybe it'll, well, there's one down here. It says that it will allow it to steal, and that looks like that's coin. Maybe it's cash. I don't know. I don't have it. But it looks like you can buy like little effects out of here, or at least out of the store here. So some of the things that I'm looking at as far as priorities, I think they're probably going to cycle like the Guardian stuff. So if there's something towards the end of like let's say a season end, you know, maybe if we don't have enough to buy a few things, maybe this will be towards the end, or maybe it'll be like something like Throne, I think might be towards the end of things that I might actually want to get, because later game 2% health is not going to do anything for me, unless hybrid comes back, which is why I would actually get it, because the game goes through cycles. The one of the really probably the best return on investments, I would say. Crown's not too bad, because critical factor is extremely powerful, and when it comes to like ultimate weapon crit, that also draws from that crit factor, so that you kind of double dip with that one, so that's really useful. There's 2 items here that I think are really, really good as far as your investment into things. So as far as coin boosts, I would say the throne room is probably the best, because you're getting a 0.8% for 100 of these guild tokens, versus like 100 for 4% or 0.4% and 0.6%. And this one's like 150 for 0.6%. So this is probably going to be the first one that you're going to want to get. And then I would say probably want to shoot for the menu one. The really cool thing about that is outside of a round, you can actually use this. So usually when I'm in a run, I don't use skins in the back, because I'm worried that it's going to eat up on the CPU and the frames per second, which is going to negatively affect my coin runs. But outside of a run, when you're in menus, this is actually the best spot to have skins, because it doesn't affect your gameplay. So this is amazing. Like, I really want this, even though I'm gonna go for this one first just because it's the best bang for my buck kind of deal. I really want this because I can use a skin and not have to feel guilty that I'm losing coin as a result. Yeah. And then, of course, just like the metal shop, they put all of the trap currencies at the top. I would not get them. I would save all of my currencies to be spent over here. Just taking a look at the members and stuff like that. Um, so every time that you claim a weekly box, it basically donates as many of those missions, so 5 missions worth, towards your contribution. And then slowly but surely that adds up, and I'm hoping, praying that we'll have enough boxes to be able to actually finish it for this first round. Um, I don't know, but we'll see. And then there were some people saying that when it gets towards, let's say, your guild finishes up, and then you still have time between your next set of daily or next set of weeklies and the next week, you can hold off on claiming those boxes and then maybe claiming them um, when the this counter resets. Might be a plan of attack just to make sure that you get a jump start on this and everyone can complete it. Um, so that's kind of a strategy that's out there, is to help everyone out. The management, let's see, I'm going to get into this. So when people are trying to join, I have it set to invite only just to kind of block it because I'm full right now. But you can get requests here. It shows like up to 3 names, and then it's really, really an uncomfortable UI to work with. Because all you have like is accept or like a trash deny kind of function. There's no scroll bar, and it's limited to just showing 3 right now. So if you've got like somebody that's in charge of a guild and they're like, this is a pain in the butt, yeah, it is. And if you're doing this on a cloud phone, it's even worse. Like it's really bad. Um, Yeah, because the latency and trying to scroll through, and then you accidentally go, oops, I accidentally deleted somebody that I wanted to accept into the guild, and it's just, yeah, that was fun. What was that? I think that was yesterday that I was tackling that. Oh. And then just so you guys can see what is the manage the guild side, you can choose like different colors for the guild banner. Um, free to join is basically anyone can just jump in. Um, so I would say that there's 2 ways that you kind of want to go about setting this up for the guild managers. One, you're probably going to start out. So let's say you've got 5 friends that you want to invite. Set it to invite only. That way it doesn't show up and people are trying to put in a request to join. And then when your friends are ready to join, have them like message you, or if you know them in person, just sit down, get ready to go, and then you can give them like the little code for them to join your guild. And then you switch it to from invite only, which blocks anyone from applying, to requires approval. So the require approval will then allow this bot to start populating requests to join, and then you can choose your friend's name that you know who they are to join your guild. And then after that, if you just want to open it up to whoever, you can just open it up to whatever, and chances are it's going to fill fast. I think I saw one picture where maybe somebody had like almost like 500 requests. So if you do just have it open for requests, it can it can be quite a chore, especially if you can only see 3 people at a time and you have to painfully scroll through everything. So, give some of these guys a slack. Um, there's also waiting for the latency. Um, there's an ID. So this is what somebody would type in if they're trying to search for your guild. And of course, there's a quick little copy, um, little thing so that you can share that with your friends. I think that's it for that. Um, so yeah, new levels on Smite. Smart Missile Plus. This will eventually max out at 2 seconds. I think more on the multiplier here, but the big thing is the cooldown for Death Wave. Chrono Loop. I used to have this maxed. Now there's additional levels on this as well. Looks like it goes up to 3 more levels. Something I actually really want, because this is going to help tremendously get enemies into poison swamps. Inner landmines, so far I haven't... This is a tough one because I'm not seeing the effects of it killing enemies as much, and I think that's because enemies tend to be closer when they hit my inner landmines. So as far as damage goes, is this as good as smart missiles? I don't know. With the changes as far as what they did to inner landmines, I feel like it needs maybe a little bit more, but I could be wrong. I mean, I have this at level 6, so I kind of expect that it should have a really decent effect, but it might be something where, like, I just need to crank it up to the max for it to even compete with smart missiles or poison swamp. I really don't know. It's really hard to say. See, that this is some of the stuff that I'm talking about that's a pain. Let's see here. Yeah. Were there new levels added to duration? Because I don't think I had 40 seconds before. I'm gonna have to look this up because I don't think I had 40 seconds before, and I don't think I have a mod that increases black hole duration. Or maybe I do. Do I? Oh, yeah, I do. Oh, man. I'm a doofus. I think I covered just about everything that I could think of. I'm just gonna peruse through the notes here. Yeah, there's enemy skip labs. Oh, enemy skips in general, they've been tweaked. So let's say if you have 50% chance, literally every other wave is going to skip. So this should be true to the percentage as far as like ratios and whatnot of skips that are done. So you're not going to actually have a chance to overdo it or underdo it anymore. It's just going to be, you're just going to consistently follow that percentage. Hopefully that makes sense. Oh yeah. events. So now when you buy the boosts, you can get these additional relics. So like for this current event, it's an hourglass that earns you 2%. Or like 2% attack speed for actually finishing out the event. I think that's an added incentive. If you're going to spend money on the game, I would probably lean more towards getting the event bonuses just because medals are so limited. And then you get some of these as a result. I think that's why they decided to go this direction, because there were so many. This is my theory. I don't know for sure. I think there were so many more sales and stones versus like the event packs. So I think that's why they decided to go in this direction. So if you buy event packs, then it's an extra boost for you guys. If you don't, then you're still getting the same number of relics per event. So like this event would be 2% cash, and then 5% orb speed. Oh, that's nice. That's actually really nice. I want that. I want that a lot. As far as new missions, I haven't seen anything pop up yet. Come on, let me scroll down. Oh, it looks like there were like killing maybe some of the elites. They might have added some of these missions in. I don't remember those being there before. So there was a new, oh yeah, there was a new cloud save system. So probably a lot of you guys, when you update, you'll notice that there's a new login, and during that new login setup, it's going to ask you a password. So just put in your new password, like you're re-logging into it, and then that's basically like, how would I say it? Like transferring your account to this new system, this new cloud save system that they've got going on. And so far it seems like it's been good for like autosaves and whatnot to keep up with that versus the old system. But there was some other things that were going on. One of the other things that were going on is sometimes in a round, your damage might be reduced to 1. Just relog into the game, and that'll fix that. I think I saw that once for myself. I relogged into it, and I haven't seen it since. So it might be just like a one-time deal with this new system that we're going in as far as the cloud save. So as soon as you do that, you should be good, I think, on the damage. Yeah. Oh, interesting. I just read up a thing here on the patch notes for the guilds. Also, it looks like if you have extra of these guild tokens left over at the end of the season, it sounds like it just cashes. Yeah, unspent guild tokens will be auto cashed out at the end of each season. I don't know what that auto cash out is gonna do. Yeah. But it sounds like from as far as the guild systems, it sounds like this is supposed to be like the beginning steps of what they're doing for this guild setup. So we'll see in the future how things evolve from there. And I think I covered about everything. Um, okay, so one blue module every 10 pulls guaranteed. So we're not just getting 10 commons. History. Looks like you can pull up a history also of your previous module pulls. So you can actually see the last 10 that I've done, which I got a project funding and, what was it, Havoc Bringer, I think? Oh no. 2 project fundings. Yeah, and then a Havoc Bringer. Yeah. This is probably a long one. Well, not as long as I thought. Anyway, let's see. Yeah, I think that's it. This went on pretty long. I hope you guys enjoyed this. It's pretty late, actually. It's I'm not gonna get a lot of sleep tonight. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you guys later.